Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are James Davidson, a sales advisor whose specialist subject is the films of Nicole Kidman. Marcus Dahl, a junior doctor who will be answering questions on constellations of the Northern Hemisphere. Katie Elliott, a town councillor. Her subject is the children's books of Roald Dahl, and Kaz Evans, a local government officer whose subject is the pop group Take That. There is undoubtedly a joy to be had settling down in front of the telly to watch another edition of Mastermind. No doubt you'll be playing along, albeit without the pressure of sitting in the famous black chair. But the real delight is in willing on our four very brave contenders to do their best. This is an unforgiving environment, an interrogation involving 2 minutes on a specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge as the clock ticks down. Who'll best handle the pressure? We'll soon find out. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
James Davidson.
Your occupation?
Sales advisor.
And your specialist subject?
The films of Nicole Kidman.
Yes, the feature films of the Oscar-winning actress in 2 minutes. Starting now, in The Others, what's the first name of the little boy whom Grace's daughter Anne claims is repeatedly drawing back the curtains in her bedroom?
Victor.
Yes, in the 1989 thriller Dead Calm, the grieving couple played by Nicole Kidman and Sam Neill set sail on a yacht with what name?
Saracen.
Yes, in To Die For, the ambitious Suzanne Stone, played by Kidman, says directly to the camera that you're not anybody in America unless you're what?
On television.
On TV, yes. What name does the witch Gilly Owens give to her lucky charm, which she goes back to retrieve from a car in Practical Magic just before being caught by the abusive Jimmy Angeloff?
Tiger Eye.
Yes, Tiger's Eye. In The Hours, the 2002 film for which she won a Best Actress Oscar, Kidman portrays the author Virginia Woolf as she struggles to write which novel?
Mrs. Dalloway.
Yes, in Eyes Wide Shut, Kidman plays Alice Harford, a discontented wife and mother who fantasizes about an affair with a young naval officer whom she met at a hotel on what peninsula?
Cape Cod.
Yes, in Moulin Rouge, Satine and her associates tell the potential sponsor, the wealthy Duke, that her next show will have what two-word title and will run for 50 years?
Spectacular, spectacular.
Yes, at the start of Cold Mountain, Ada Monroe describes her former home of Charleston as a world of slaves and corsets and what?
Pass.
In the 2004 remake of The Stepford Wives, Kidman's character, the television executive Joanna Eberhardt, survives a murder attempt by the contestant Hank, who has appeared on what fictional reality show?
I Can Do Better.
Yes, in Rabbit Hole, what book does the grieving mother Becca Corbett borrow from the library after it's been returned by the driver who killed her son?
Parallel Worlds?
No, Parallel Universes. In the 2016 film Lion, after being adopted by Kidman's character Sue Briley, what's the first English word spoken by Saru at the dining table in his new home in Tasmania?
Pepper.
Yes, in the 2021 film Being the Ricardos, Jess Oppenheimer makes a bet that the television network won't allow Lucille Ball to say what specific word on her television show, I Love Lucy.
Pregnant.
It is. Pregnant. So, James, you had just a one pass. In Cold Mountain, Ada Monroe describes her former home of Charleston as a world of slaves and corsets and cotton. And at the end of that round, you've got 10 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Marcus Dahl.
Your occupation?
Junior doctor.
And your specialist subject?
Constellations of the Northern Hemisphere.
The stars, legends and features of the 43 constellations that lie at least partly north of the celestial equator in 2 minutes. Let's go. Which constellation named after a mythical monster slain by Hercules is the largest constellation in the night sky?
Hydra.
Yes, which star, sometimes known as Alpha Canis Minoris, is one of the 10 brightest in the night sky and has a name that translates from Greek as before the dog?
Procyon.
Yes, in 1572. In which constellation did the Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe discover a supernova said to have been so bright that it was visible during daylight?
Cassiopeia.
Yes, which Belgian astronomer decided to split the constellation Serpens into 2 parts when he reframed the borders of the constellations in 1930 for the International Astronomical Union?
Plancius.
No, Eugène Delporte. beehive star cluster, also known as M44, is a feature of which constellation?
Cancer.
Yes, the small constellation Corona Borealis is said to represent the crown that was a gift to celebrate the wedding of the god Dionysus with which figure from Greek mythology?
Ariadne.
Yes, which small constellation was named by the astronomer Johannes Hevelius in 1687, who suggested that one needed the eyesight of this animal to see it?
Lynx.
Yes, the so-called Belt of Orion is made up of 3 bright stars, Alnitak, Alnilam, and which other star?
Menotac.
No, it's Mintaka. Auriga, the charioteer, is widely regarded to be a representation of which mythological king who is said to have invented the 4-horse chariot?
Eratosthenes.
No, Erichthonius. When the Babylonians adopted 12 constellations to create the astrological zodiac, which constellation was omitted, although it's still considered by some to be the 13th sign?
Ophiuchus.
Yes, the constellation Pisces is said to represent the 2 fishes into which Aphrodite and her son Eros changed to escape from which mythical monster?
Typhon.
Yes, in 2013, astronomers discovered a 5-planet solar system orbiting the star Kepler-62, which forms part of which constellation?
Cygnus.
No, it's Lyra. And Marcus, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 8 points.
Thanks.
And our next contender, please. Your name,
Katie Elliott,
your occupation,
Town Councillor.
and your specialist subject.
The children's books of Roald Dahl.
Children's books of the best-selling author, screenwriter, and wartime pilot in 2 minutes. Let's go. What foul-tasting vegetable is the staple food of the BFG?
Snozzcumbers.
Yes, in James and the Giant Peach, although the centipede claims to the earthworm that he has 100 legs, he actually has how many?
42.
Yes, what room containing a brown river and waterfall does Willy Wonka tell the golden ticket winners is the nerve center of the whole factory, the heart of the whole business?
Pass.
In Dahl's first children's book, The Gremlins, a collaboration with Disney, originally published in the 1940s, what name is given to the young of gremlins and fifinellas?
Widgets.
Yes, after completing batch 3 of his marvellous medicine, George tells his father, Mr. Killy Cranky, that he forgot to include engine oil and what other ingredient?
Pass.
For his clever trick number 1, the enormous crocodile disguises himself as a coconut tree and attempts to eat a pair of children, a brother and a sister called Toto and what?
Mary.
Yes, Matilda's father, Mr. Wormwood, tears up which book by John Steinbeck to prevent her reading it, claiming that if it's by an American, it's certain to be filth.
Of Mice and Men.
No, The Red Pony. In Fantastic Mr. Fox, what drink is described to Mr. Fox as being like medicine for badgers and tasting like sunbeams and rainbows?
Cider.
Yes. Which planet is home to the vermicious canids, the greeny-brown creatures encountered by the occupants of the Great Glass Elevator?
Mars.
No, Vermes. When Billy opens his sweet shop in The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, what special sweets, normally bought by children who long to be able to whistle, does he give to the pelican?
Fishlets.
No, Pishlets. In Danny, the champion of the world, what variety of apple grows on the tree behind Danny's caravan, causing a thumping on the roof when the wind blows?
Cox's Orange Pippins.
Yes, what's the surname of Roberta, the girl in SEO Trot, who ends up buying Alfie, Mrs. Silver's original small toys, and looking after him for decades until she's an adult?
Pass.
Well, the answer was Squib. And you had 2 other passes. After completing batch 3 of the marvellous medicine, George forgot to include antifreeze. And the room containing a brown river and waterfall that is described as the nerve centre of the whole factory, the chocolate room. And at the end of that round, Katie, you've got 6 points. And our final contender, please. Your name,
Kaz Evans,
your occupation,
local government officer.
and your specialist subject.
Take that.
The chart-topping boy band formed in Manchester in 2 minutes. Let's go. Which promoter and manager brought the 5 members of Take That together?
Nigel Martin Smith.
Yes, the video for the 1993 single Pray, the first song by the band to reach #1 in the UK, was filmed at a beach resort in which country?
Spain.
No, Mexico. The version of the song Never Forget, which was released as a single in 1995, opens with a trumpet fanfare taken from a work by which composer?
Pass.
Which of Take That's albums generated 6 UK top 10 singles, including 4 #1s, and was shortlisted for the Mercury Prize?
Everything Changes.
Yes, the song Could It Be Magic, which originally appeared on the group's debut album Take That and Party, was released as a single in 1992, having been remixed by an Italian duo known by what name?
The Rapino Brothers.
Yes, at the Ivor Novello Awards in 2012, which DJ presented Take That with the award for outstanding contribution to British music?
Pass.
Which stage director and choreographer has worked as creative director on several of Take That's tours, including The Circus and Wonderland?
Pass.
What's the title of the 2005 television documentary in which all 5 members of Take That were interviewed individually about their time in the group?
Take That for the Record.
Yes, on the Ultimate Tour in 2006, Lulu performed the song Relight My Fire with the group at the stadium dates. Which soul singer sang Lulu's vocal at the arena dates?
Beverly Knight.
Yes, which Grammy-winning songwriter produced a number of tracks on the 2014 studio album 3, including These Days and Freeze?
Jim Steinman.
No, Greg Kurstin. Which song from the album The Circus includes the lines, as the orchestra plays, the people take the seats, there's no room left in this house?
Hold Up a Light.
Yes, which writer and composer who previously worked with Gary Barlow on the Calendar Girls stage musical wrote the book for the Take That jukebox musical, The Band?
Pass.
Which comedian portrayed Howard Donald in the video for Happy Now, auditioning for a fictional tribute band called Fake That?
James Corden.
No, David Walliams. Which song from Take That's 6th studio album, Start It All Finish? Progress opens with the lines, Kings and Queens and Presidents, Ministers of Governments, welcome to the future of your world.
Kids.
It's Kids. So, Kaz, you had 4 passes. Tim Firth is the writer and composer who previously worked with Gary Barlow. The stage director and choreographer who's worked as creative director on several of Take That's tours, that's Kim Gavin. It's Chris Moyles, the DJ, who presented Take That with the Outstanding Contribution to Music Award at the Ivor Novellos. And that trumpet fanfare of the beginning of Never Forget is taken from a work by Verdi. And at the end of that round, Kaz, you've got 7 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the Specialist Subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place, with 6 points, it's Katie. In 3rd place, with 7 points, it's Kaz. In 2nd place, with 8 points, sits Marcus. And in 1st place, with 10 points, it's James. So now, the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Katie to join us again, please. So, Katie, you start with 6 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now, stovepipe, pork pie and Stetson are styles of what clothing accessory?
Hat.
Yes, which British swimmer, who won a total of 5 gold medals at the Beijing, London and Rio Paralympic Games, was awarded an MBE in 2009 at the age of just 14?
Pass. I can't remember the name.
The term galley is used for the part of a ship or aircraft that's equivalent to which room in a house?
Kitchen.
Yes, in 2019, which comedian succeeded Rod Gilbert as the presenter of the television series The Apprentice? You're fired.
Pass.
What term, inspired by the sound made by turkeys, was coined by the American politician Maori Maverick in the 1940s to describe pompous, incomprehensible language?
Gobbledygook.
Yes, in the standard UK version of the board game Scrabble, the letters M and P each have a face value of how many points?
2.
No, 3. The Royal Air Force Base at Akrotiri is in which Mediterranean island country?
Sicily.
No, Cyprus. The dish known as angels on horseback consists of bacon wrapped around what shellfish?
Oyster.
Yes, which Italian-American author has written novels about the mafia that include The Sicilian, The Last Don and Omerta?
Pass.
What name, derived from the Greek word for wood, is given to the tissue in a plant that transports water and nutrients from the roots and forms the woody part of a stem?
Xylem.
Yes. Which city in the west of England has the telephone area code 0117?
Pass.
Which Paris museum opened in 1793 was renamed La Musée Napoléon, or Napoleon Museum, for a number of years in the early 19th century?
The Louvre.
Yes. Which American pop act, made up of 3 siblings named Esty, Danielle and Delana, won in the Best International Group category at the 2021 Brit Awards?
Pass.
In 1918, which future Nazi leader succeeded the Red Baron Manfred von Richthofen as the leader of the elite group of fighter pilots known as the Flying Circus?
Adolf Hitler.
No, Hermann Goering. After his death in 1956, which famous horror film actor was buried in Culver City, California, in one of the costumes he'd worn when playing Count Dracula?
Stan.
No,
Stanley.
Bela
No.
Lugosi. At an elevation of almost 3,000 feet, the mountain summit of Pen y Fan is the highest point in which Welsh National Park?
Pass.
What term was coined by the Nobel Prize-winning scientist Denis Gabor in 1947 as the name for a 3-dimensional photographic image now usually created using lasers?
Oh, no. Hologram.
Yes! It's hologram! And you had 6 passes. The mountain summit of Pen y Fan is the highest point in Brecon Beacons National Park. And the 3 siblings who won Best International Group in 2021 at the Brit Awards, it's Haim. The West of England city, with the area code 0117, it's Bristol. And that Italian-American author was Mario Puzo. Tom Allen is the comedian who succeeded Rod Gilbert as the presenter of the television series The Apprentice, You're Fired. And it's Ellie Simmonds. She is the British swimmer who won a total of 5 gold medals. So at the end of that round, Katie, you've got 13 points.
Thank you.
Next up, it's Kaz. So, Kaz, you start with 7 points, the score to beat as it stands. 13 points, you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In a common expression, to exaggerate the importance of something trivial is to make a mountain out of a what?
Molehill.
Yes, what's the alliterative name of the children's television character who lives and works in the fictional village of Greendale with his black and white cat, Jess?
Postman Pat.
Yes, the British scientists Paul Dirac, Patrick Blackett and Martin Ryle were all 20th century winners of the Nobel Prize in which discipline?
Physics.
Yes, the airport in Texas designated by the international code DFW is named after Dallas and which neighbouring city?
Fort Worth.
Yes, Midge was the lead singer of which new wave group who had UK hit singles in the 1980s with Vienna, All Stood Still and Dancing with Tears in My Eyes?
Ultravox.
Yes, what name, the Latin for royal water, is given to a highly corrosive mixture of concentrated nitric and hydrochloric acids that can dissolve gold?
Pass.
In the 2021 film musical Cyrano, which American actor plays the title character?
Steve Martin.
No, Peter Dinklage. Which novel by Toni Morrison set after the American Civil War won the 1988 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction?
Pass.
In February 2022, which London-based football club won the FIFA Club World Cup, beating the Brazilian side Palmeiras in the final?
Chelsea.
Yes, the Rose period in the early 1900s was a phase in the career of which Spanish artist?
Picasso.
Yes, what variety of cabbage, characterised by its wrinkled dark green leaves, is named after the region of present-day France near the border with Italy, where it was first cultivated?
Savoy.
Yes, in medicine, what name derived from a Greek word meaning strangling is given to a localised pain, particularly one in the chest, caused by reduced blood flow to the heart?
Pass.
A 70th wedding anniversary or royal jubilee is usually known by the name of which precious metal?
Platinum.
Yes, the common species of what plant? Of the genus Calluna, often widespread over moorland and with pink or purple flowers, is sometimes known as ling.
Heather.
Yes, in March 2022, the wreck of which famous ship was located in the Weddell Sea more than 100 years after having been lost during an Antarctic expedition?
Endeavour.
No, Endurance. Freya, the Norse goddess of fertility, is commonly depicted riding a boar or in a chariot being pulled by what animals?
Pass.
The British fashion designer Ted Tingling is best known for creating outfits for women competitors in what sport?
Swimming.
No, tennis. Which future US president first earned, I've started so I'll finish, first earned the Republican Party's presidential nomination in 1960, when on that occasion he lost the election to John F. Kennedy?
Nixon.
It was Richard Nixon. Kaz, you had 4 passes. Freya, the Norse goddess of fertility, is depicted riding a boar or a chariot pulled by cats. It's angina, which derives from the Greek word meaning strangling. Beloved is the Toni Morrison book, which won the 1988 Pulitzer Prize for fiction. And the Latin for royal water is aqua regia. And at the end of that round, Kaz, you've got 18 points. Next up, it's Marcus. Marcus, you start with 8 points. The score to beat as it stands is 18 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What 3-letter palindrome is a common shortened form of the first name Robert?
Bob.
Yes, If I Only Had a Brain and If I Only Had a Heart are songs from what 1939 film?
The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, which English cardinal fell out of favour with Henry VIII after failing to persuade the Pope to grant Henry an annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and died in 1530 on the journey from York to London following his arrest for treason?
Wolseley.
No, Thomas Wolsey. In 1967, the singer Cindy Birdsong left the group Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells to replace Florence Ballard as a member of which Motown trio?
Supremes.
Yes. What alphanumeric name is given to a sheet of paper that measures 297 by 210 millimetres and is the size most commonly used in the UK for business letters?
A4.
Yes. In a nursery rhyme first published in 1805, what's the name of the character who went to the cupboard to fetch her poor dog a bone?
Mother Hubbard.
Yes. The name of what tubular variety of pasta is an Italian word for quills?
Penny.
Yes. Which British architect has presented the television series The Restoration Man and a self-titled show about his amazing spaces?
George Clark.
Yes, on a clothing care label, a circle inside a square with a cross through both shapes indicates that a garment should not be put through what typical stage of the laundry process?
Drying. Tumble drying.
Tumble drying. In 1953, which future Soviet leader married an academic named Raisa Titorenko?
Stalin.
No, Mikhail Gorbachev. The name Helvetia appears on the postage stamps of which Central European country?
Ukraine.
No, Switzerland. In December 2021, which driver beat Lewis Hamilton in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to win his first Formula One title?
Max Verstappen.
Yes, several varieties of liqueur flavoured with the peel of a type of bitter orange, are collectively named after which Caribbean island about 40 miles from the coast of Venezuela?
Grenada.
No, Curacao. In 2019, the Bulgarian economist Kristalina Georgieva was appointed as managing director of what global financial organisation?
The World Bank.
No, International Monetary Fund. What word, a diminutive of the Latin for third, is used for a male falcon or hawk?
Trid.
No, tercel, when the horse, Devon Lock, mysteriously collapsed onto his stomach just before the finishing line while in the lead in the 1956 Grand National. He was ridden by which jockey, who went on to be a well-known author of crime fiction?
Childs.
No, it was Dick Francis. And Marcus, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 17 points.
Thank you.
And finally, let's have James again. James, you start with 10 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Kaz's 18 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. What facial feature can be described as Roman or aquiline, from the Latin meaning eagle-like?
Nose.
Yes. What word for a monotonous sound is also the name given to a male honeybee?
Drone.
Yes, in the television cartoon series The Flintstones, what's the surname of Barney and Betty, the neighbours of the Flintstone family?
Rubble.
Yes. What 4-letter name derived from Arabic is given to a cosmetic powder traditionally consisting of antimony sulfide or lead sulfide used to darken the eyes?
Rouge.
No, coal. What term, adapted from the text of Shakespeare's Richard III, is commonly applied to the period in late 1978 and early 79, when industrial action in the UK caused severe disruption to public services?
Winter of discontent.
Yes, in March 2022, at the age of 36, the newly elected Gabriel Boric was sworn in as the youngest president of which South American country?
Argentina.
No, Chile. What 1975 Australian film directed by Peter Weir is about the disappearance of pupils from an exclusive girls' school in 1900?
Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Yes, which day of the week is known in French as jeudi?
Thursday.
Yes, the mineral scheelite is an important ore of which metal commonly used to add strength to steel and other alloys?
Zinc.
No, tungsten. In which book by Charlotte Bronte does the title character marry the wealthy Edward Rochester?
Jane Eyre.
Yes, what's the name of the basic unit of currency of Thailand equal to 100 satangs?
The Dong.
No, baht. What song recorded by Lena Horne, Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, among others, has the opening lyrics, "Don't know why, there's no sun up in the sky"?
We'll Meet Again.
No, Stormy Weather, in which arcade game played on a customized table with tiny vent holes on its surface do participants try to hit a plastic puck into a slot at their opponent's end?
Air hockey.
Yes, in the abbreviation CBT, for a type of therapy commonly used to treat anxiety and depression. The letter C stands for what?
Cognitive.
Yes, which German tennis player achieved the so-called Golden Slam? In 1988, when she added the Olympic title to the Wimbledon, French, Australian and US Open singles titles that she'd already won that year.
Steffi Graf.
Yes, what name, the Portuguese for act of faith, was given to the public ceremony in which people were sentenced on the orders of the Spanish Inquisition?
Pass.
In 1792, the architect James Hoban won a competition to design what landmark building in Washington, D.C., which he completed in 1801?
The White House.
Yes, a device said to have been invented in the 3rd century B.C. that was used to pump water by means of a rotating spiral inside a cylindrical tube is most commonly known as Archimedes' what?
Lever.
No, screw. James, you had just the one pass. The name in Portuguese for act of faith is an auto da fe. And at the end of that round, you've done it. You've got 21 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 13 points, it's Katie. In 3rd place with 17 points, it's Marcus. In 2nd place with 18 points, it's Kaz. And in 1st place with 21 points, it's James, which means he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Feel great after just winning the heat of Mastermind. I've watched quiz shows for years and just enjoyed answering the questions on the couch with my flatmate who always told me I should apply. I'll probably be sort of disappointed they still have to keep asking me questions and quizzing me and testing my general knowledge, but I'm sure they'll be really happy and proud of me.